Mr. Tony, the aircraft that we saw today is part of the 72 aircrafts that you ordered from Boeing, the 787 Dreamliners. However, we've been hearing some media reports about your intention to order around 150 aircrafts, this time the narrow-body ones. Is this true?
So we placed an order on the 14th of March, obviously not that long ago, for 72 787 Dreamliners. It's an incredible long-range wide-body aircraft, and this livery shows what an incredible product we'll deliver with it. That was our first major campaign. At the moment, we're in the middle of a second campaign, and that is for a single-aisle, narrow-body aircraft. But of course, until we've concluded it, that will be the next big story.
But are you negotiating with both Boeing and Airbus?
We're negotiating with both Boeing and Airbus. And the tease and the reveal is there will be an announcement, and the minute we can reveal it, we'll let everybody know, because this is a really exciting time with Tehran Al Riyadh, of course, Riyadh Air.
Your target is to be a sustainable airline, one of the most in the world. How exactly are you doing that? And does this mean that you are planning to use SAF fuel?
So the simple answer, of course, is yes. SAF, no matter which way you look at it, is one of the biggest components to net zero. But you need to do lots of other things as well. So we will have, by definition, one of the world's most modern fleets with modern engines, composite airframes. So these aircraft are up to 25% more fuel efficient than their predecessors. They fly further, and of course they're lighter. We'll be working with lots of different technologies to reduce CO2 emissions, and we'd like to think in the future people will look at Riyadh Air as a thought leader when it comes to aviation sustainability.
Mr. Tony, your target is 100 destinations. By which year? How many of these destinations are local versus international?
So our mandate is very clear. It's part of the 2030 diversification strategy, and what we will do is connect the kingdom to the world and the world to the kingdom. We'll be looking at putting up to 100 cities into our network, and of course I can't, with 2 years still to go, announce exactly which ones they'll be, but it will be the obvious ones in terms of within the kingdom, it will be the obvious ones regionally, and of course it will be the obvious ones internationally. You can see what I've done there, tease and reveal. What you'll get from us is just about every 2 months is another tease and then the reveal of a great story.
And hopefully we'll be hearing that on the show. Can't you tell us at least a percentage between the local and the international destinations?
It really is too early to say, but as we get closer to the ticketing window next year, that will be part of the big reveal. But I can guarantee you one thing, it'll be super exciting.
By 2025, you become operational. How many destinations do we expect? What's the expected number of fleet in the first year of operations?
So we'll be taking our first 787 Dreamliner deliveries in early 2025. They will go on a combination of international destinations and probably connect as well so we can utilize the aircraft properly, some of the shorter sectors. So we'll be announcing those probably early next year.
Will you start operations from the existing airport and then move your hub to the new airport? And what does this mean to Saudi Airlines?
So it's a really good question. We will, of course, be operating out of our hub, the capital city, of course, here in Riyadh. We'll be using existing infrastructure, which is going through quite a significant program of upgrading and adding additional capacity at the moment. And that will bridge for when Project Runway, the new airport, will be available to us all. So infrastructure world class, airline world class. We'll be presenting ourselves as a true digital native with an absolute obsessional attention to detail when it comes to guest experience.
Mr. Tony, AI is the buzzword these days. So my question is, since you are talking about giving the customer a premium digital experience, will you be using AI in your operations, and how?
So a very bold yes. One thing we have as an absolute gift is no legacy. We don't have any old-fashioned systems which have developed over a long period of time and therefore always make it difficult to change. Because of that, we'll be using AI, we'll be using chatbots, we'll be integrating it to make it a digital native in the same way you and the citizens, particularly here, in one of the most digitally connected nations in the world, are used to doing just about everything else in their lifestyles.
One last question. It's summertime and everyone is complaining about ticket prices. Why do you think ticket prices are so high, and would we ever go back to pre-COVID levels?
So before the pandemic, ticket prices were at an all-time low. And I think I was one of the first people to go into the media and coin the phrase revenge tourism, and when it goes off, it'll go off like a fire hydrant. Today, nearly all flights are full, and therefore, because there's less supply and a huge amount of demand, it's taken prices up, as well as many of the costs that have changed. I expect that that will soften over time, but of course there's a lot of variables in there. Oil price is the biggest single cost for any airline, so of course seeing too far in the future is always difficult, but I would anticipate that we'll start to see prices stabilise.